side and pokes him. And it was I thought it was a penalty.
Crafty.
Crafty. It was
I guess
a
he got
cagey
away with
play.
it, so you don't have to explain anything.
And that Howard, that was his first goal.
Yeah.
So, anyways, it was coming back to the original point. In the Atlantic, 6 teams are not happy.
Yeah. Boston's, they've thrown away a good start, some goodwill.
Oh, yeah, their start is like...
That's over. Yeah, you're right. And that, I guess you can take solace in that if you're Berube and company. 3-3-1, not great. Should be better with the start. You had an opportunity to have a great start, but it's not horrendous. You're right there. And
we do this every year, guys.
Every year they do in October. Every year.
What are they doing out there? Are these guys going to be any good?
Yep.
And Hayes says that every year they're going to end up with 100 points. So what we're seeing right now is somewhat concerning. It's just not good enough. Like we said, not enough players are playing good enough. But in the past, regardless of the personnel, they've got it together. So we'll see.
Yep, they have, and it's on them to push the right buttons and get going here for sure, because the rest of the division's allowing you to do that. Whoever can get hot for like 15, 20 games, you might be able to cruise to the finish line. Game 1 of the World Series Friday night. Sean Green will join us, help us tee that up. We've obviously got the Raptors starting their season up tonight down in Atlanta. We'll tee that up later this afternoon. Role play level of concern coming up. MJ calling a game last night. MJ out there doing some skates with Austin Matthews as well. Like that Johnny went no helmet. I like that. I thought he'd wear a hat or something.
You can't wear a helmet with a visor for that taping.
Maybe not a visor.
Put a helmet on. Yeah.
Throw a helmet on. You're a professional.
When you go out and coach your kids, do you have to wear the bucket?
Yeah, of course. Hockey Canada, man. You have to. You have to. No cage, though. No visor, no cage. Sometimes, no chin strap. Sometimes. Just to make sure everyone knows you're out there wheeling.
You're an adult out there.
Yeah, exactly. There's a true talent out there that's really making things happen. All right, Overdrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 4.
Friday on TSN 1050. Hear the Toronto Raptors home opener versus the Milwaukee Bucks.
Jumps it down. Take that with you.
Coverage starts at 6 p.m. Hear it all on TSN 1050. The Raptors live here. Now, back to Overdrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
Overdrive continues, brought to you by FanDuel, bringing you more ways to play your game your way. We're moving slowly but surely towards Game 1 of the World Series Friday night. And, man, the World Series knocking the Leafs down on hockey night. Not even playing at 7 o'clock on Saturday. That surprised me.
Wow.
I have to be honest. Man, they go to Vancouver and they play at 7 o'clock Eastern time. Like, this is one more thing people in Vancouver say, let me get this straight. You're willing to move the game for a different sport for a team in Toronto, but not a team in Vancouver.
What if the
roll
Leafs
through
haven't
town,
lost
can't
yet?
do it.
Would it still be the same thing?
If what? Sorry?
The Leafs haven't lost yet.
Yes. I think this is
It's a
likely.
World Series. These are games 8 to 9.
I know.
It's a World Series, and it's what, once in.
Still crazy stuff.
It
Still
doesn't happen
crazy
much.
It's close
stuff.
to once in your lifetime, but it's not. They were in this World Series in what,
92, 93, yes.
Yeah, so it's not in
Third time, man.
Third time
Third
in your
time.
lifetime. So this doesn't happen, habitually, 6 out of 10 times type of thing. So
It's
yes,
the right
you can
play.
say
100% the right play.
Hazy,
Downtown's going to be crazy.
Are the Dodgers heavy favorites? I would predict that.
They're a
would be the case.
favorite. I wouldn't say they're a heavy favorite. I'd have to look up what the line is on FanDuel for them to win the series. My guess would be they're minus 200, something like that. Doogie, let us know. I'm curious what that line is. But you'd be getting plus money on the Jays, for sure. But the Jays love playing at home. They love playing at home, man. They love that Rogers Center. And they do have home field advantage starting on Friday night. Here's a guy that knows both teams well, knows both cities well, former Blue Jay, former Dodger. There's Sean Green. How you doing, Sean?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
We're doing very well. How do you feel about this? You're an alumni on both sides of the aisle here. How does this one set up for you?
Yeah, I win. I've already won the World Series, so that's good here. No, It's going to be interesting. I'm excited to have the two teams. I played for 4 teams, but my 15 seasons that I was up, 5 or 10 of them were between these two teams, or actually no, 12 of them, because I was up briefly in the World Series year and the year after. So, I think it's one of those things where you get to the World Series and anything can happen. It's who's hot at the right time. The Blue Jays have a pretty scary lineup, and the Dodgers know that. So, I think it's going to be pretty even money. I think the Dodgers have a slight edge maybe, but I wouldn't bet against either team right now.
Be honest. We're not going to hold you to anything against you. Who are you cheering for? There's got to be one team where you're like, I want to see these guys win the World Series.
No, I honestly at this point, right when you guys called, I was just hanging up with Carlos Delgado, who's a really good friend of mine, and we're both like, look, we want to be entertained and watch, and I think as the series progresses and you kind of see, the drama unfold, and your heart starts to tug you in one direction or the other. But going into it, I'm pretty neutral, honestly, and there's not too many people that I were in Toronto when I was there. I mean, my last year there was 99, which is obviously like almost 30 years ago. But I do still have some friends there, and I love my time there. And I'm getting former Jays teammates like Alex Gonzalez, Carlos are texting about it, and it's kind of cool to bring that part of our lives, back into the present.
So if you're with the Jays, how do you approach Ohtani? Is there any type of thought process, any type of pre-scout that we all haven't watched this guy put a clinic on for years?
Yeah, he's obviously a unicorn and does things that no one else does. But I think the thing that's hardest as a hitter is to have, even a 3-day break is tough. And so there'll be at least 7 or 8 days off in between series. So I would go at him and see what happens. And so you start off, and in baseball as a pitcher, which I never was, but you kind of go at guys until they prove to you that they can't hit that pitch or whatever it is. So I would say, look, attack him early and see what happens. And if he shows that, his timing's on and he's hot, then I would back off really, really quickly. And I think vice versa. I think the same thing for the Dodgers. You got to go after Vladdy early and see what happens. If you get second and third with 2 outs, it might be a little different conversation, but you got to let them prove to you that they're hot, because both teams have guys around them that could do damage as well.
Well, that's the amazing thing. Like Ohtani's he's going to get the first at bat of the World Series, right? Like he's going to step in, and we don't know who's going to pitch Game 1. It may be Gausman, it may be Savage, but it is somewhat fitting because of the connection. The Jays are obviously, but the idea of him stepping into the box. Let's say it's Trey Savage, like the tone setting. Do you believe in that? It's a long series. Like it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. But the idea, like you just said, going at Ohtani, like the symbolism of that, if you could challenge him, if you can strike him out, if you can get him out, that first at bat of the series, how big do you think that could be for the Jays?
Yeah, no, it's a series of momentum. I mean, look at the Jays Seattle series. I think everyone in Toronto was probably this is over after losing 2 at home, right? So it does shift. I think it is nice to come at the opposing team, especially their biggest stars, and set the tone early. And if I'm on the Jays, then that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to say, if we could show you that we can shut your best player down, the best player all around who's ever walked the earth, then that's making quite a statement. So that's why I don't think I would start off being really careful until he shows me that he's he's on time and hitting the ball hard.
We're chatting with former Blue Jay, former Dodger Sean Green. How much of a believer, if at all, are you in home field advantage and the fact that the Blue Jays have it?
Yeah, I'm kind of okay. So I think certain teams play really well at home, and the Jays are one of them. And other teams play pretty well on the road. I think in baseball, I kind of like the opposite. I like being to start off as the visiting team, because my attitude is, okay, you go in to the visiting park, you win 1 of the 2 games, you figure you should go home and win 2 out of 3. Now you're up 3-2, You say all we got to do is win one of these 2 games, and you're probably going to get your best pitcher, in Game 7. If everything lines up correctly with the days or whatever. But so that's kind of my attitude on it. And I know Joe Torre has said the same thing in the past. But I think that changes a little bit when you have such a home cooking type vibe that the Blue Jays have and love playing in your own ballpark. So I would say in this case it's definitely going to play more to the Blue Jays' favor because they have done so well historically at Rogers Center.
Yeah,
I don't see
this
guys
year.
like the 2-3-2 being. I hate it. Like, I just hate it. The team with the better record, it seems like you're getting screwed, man, with that. I just cannot stand the 2-3-2. Drop that
you like
first
the
game
2-2,
seems like
1-1-1
such a
better.
disadvantage. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. It just seems like having those 3 in the middle, like that's where as long as you don't start off down 2-0 or 0-2 or whatever. Those middle games really set the whole series, right? I mean, that's where everything's at. So if you can win 2 of those 3 middle games, you should win the series.
Well, and we just saw that. Even though it was unconventional, the Jays lost the first 2 at home. They won 2 of 3 in Seattle.
Exactly.
And set up that momentum for them coming home with Sean Green. So, you mentioned you and Carlos Delgado talking, and Alex, and like how often who else would you expect to maybe hear from, between now and I guess the end of the World Series?
Yeah, I could see hearing from Pat Henkin, Darren Fletcher. We had such a great group of guys, and I was briefly on that '93 team, but I was 20 years old and just got called up. Went 0 for 6, so Joe Carter can get a couple of days off, to stay ready. So I actually helped because he might have gotten hurt and not hit that walk-off, World Series winning home run. So maybe I deserve the ring that I got, but. Yeah, no, it's always you never know who's going to pop up. I was texting with Kevin Malloy, who's now the visiting clubhouse guy, and it was one of our home guys when I was there. So Dr. Copeland, he was our team doctor. He still does some stuff for the team. So it's not just players, but it's also people around the organization. Everyone's excited. It's the World Series is always such a great event. It's not like I think. Some sports you kind of know who's going to win, or you have a really good idea who's going to win going into the championship series. And baseball's, I think a lot of people think the Dodgers are going to win, but you just never know in baseball.
Well, and that '93 team, you mentioned you showed up late, got in for a couple of games late. That team is what the Dodgers are today. They were coming off the World Series in '92, and when you stepped into that clubhouse, like, could you feel it immediately? Could you? We always talk about culture and winning culture and championship pedigree. Like, did it feel somewhat tangible in a way when you actually showed up and walked into that clubhouse?
It did. I mean, I didn't have a frame of reference coming, from the minor leagues and being so young, but there was just such a level of confidence and professionalism. And then you add late in the season, you had a guy like Ricky Henderson, who he's like. People were shocked because it was such a strong lineup already. It was filled with all-stars. Now you get, a sure Hall of Famer coming in to lead off. So, yeah, I mean, I think when you have a team, I don't know, every team that I've been on, and I haven't, I lost Game 7 with the Mets to get to the World Series, so I've never played in the World Series. But every team I was on that had a rock-solid bullpen, I think, added a level of confidence, and that's how that '93 Jays team was with Dwayne Ward and Timlin, and it was just really solid. It seems like both teams have some question marks in the bullpen right now. So you always feel like if you can shorten the game to 6 innings, then you're going to win a lot of games and you have good offense. And that's why I think the teams line up a little bit better than people expect. The Dodgers kind of have a little bit more of a bring in Sasaki into the bullpen has helped a lot, but that was a weak spot for them. And I think the Jays have kind of had some fits and starts with their bullpen as well throughout the season. So it's going to come down to what hitters are hot, and I don't think either team's going to let pitchers go super deep into the games.
Were you there? This is such a random question, but we reference this all the time when we play the clip. Were you there when Joe Carter pranked Derek Bell and brought his car onto the field? Were you there for that?
I was not there for that. I think that was 90. That was 92, I believe.
Okay, that was
So
92.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think Derek was gone in 93. I could be wrong, but I'm actually getting a text from crew chief, another Blue Jays clubby right now, is watching this or listening to this right now. So
Awesome.
Nice.
yeah. So all my Blue Jay homies are coming out. No, but that's one of the all-time greatest pranks for sure.
How busy would the World Series be for the players? Like every organization, every family says we want the athlete to be like focused on the task at hand. Like there must be people crawling out from the weeds saying, I need tickets, I need this, I need that. Like how busy of a time would it be for the players where you got to tell people like, don't even think about asking me for this?
Yeah, I wish I could tell you, but never having played in it. I know the All-Star game was like that for sure. The playoffs are pretty tough. I think that's one of the areas where having the experience and the amount of postseason play that the Dodgers have had plays to their advantage, because they know how to set those boundaries. They know how to compartmentalize the chaos that comes with all this, with actually playing the games. And it sounds trivial, but it's actually a pretty big thing. It's all the other, even like opening day for me. I always hated opening day because you have skydivers, you have jets flying over. There's like all the times are changed when you have batting practice. So all those things throw you off your rhythm a little bit. And the World Series, I'm sure, is that times 20. So I'm sure the Jays are trying to make sure the players are prepared and can handle and support the guys so they could avoid that as much as possible. But I'm sure that's a challenge for them.
Yeah, it will be. And again, it's something that the Dodgers, they got that experience. They just collectively all went through it. They've been to the World Series a lot over the years. Yeah. This is uncharted territory for the Blue Jays. But we'll see where it goes. They got home field. It starts Friday night. He is Sean Green. He's somewhat conflicted. I guess neutral right now, but we'll see how the series plays out.
Neutral right now.
Neutral right now.
We'll see what happens. Yeah.
All right.
No,
enjoy it.
The Blue Jays fans are awesome, so it's hard not to see them get excited and get another championship.
Well, exactly. I can tell you, as you know, people up here are pretty jacked up. So we'll see how it starts off, and